everyone, you're welcome to Business Functions and Data Cleaning in Google Sheets. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please kindly subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell so that you'll be informed whenever we go live. So today, we will be importing data from various sources, data cleaning and preparation, organizing data, using sheets and range, basic and logical functions, advanced formulas, and pivot tables. How do we import data from various sources? How do we import data from various sources? The importance of importing data from various sources in Google Sheets is enormous. Like, the flexibility involved. You can import multiple formats that can enhance data management efficiency. You can import spreadsheets, CSV files that can help streamline data entry and analysis. And you can also integrate Google Sheets with other online databases, which enables you have seamless data updates and real-time analysis. So we'll be looking at this data for us, and we'll be looking at data cleaning and preparation. When you get a data, you have to clean the data. You have to clean the data. Removing duplicates, removing empty cells, and a whole lot more. Splitting text to column, then reducing spaces, and a whole lot more that data cleaning is all about. But we are going to be dealing on three major areas today. And the first is removing duplicates. Eliminating duplicate entries ensures the accuracy of the datasets, and it prevents skewed analysis results. So, remove duplicate. There are two ways to remove duplicates in Google Sheets. The first is you go to data. I will go there now. You go to data. You go to data, and then you go to data clean up, and then you see remove duplicates. That is the first way to remove duplicates. Then there is another way to remove duplicates. Another way to remove duplicates is to copy the column that you want to remove duplicates, and then you use the unique function to remove duplicates. Okay, I'll experiment it. You either copy it and remove the duplicate, or you use the unique functions to extract the duplicate, to extract the unique values. So I'll add another sheet so you can see what I'm doing. So let's say in this corporate segment, I want to remove duplicates. You see, there are lots of duplicates. I can use the unique function as equals unique. Once I click on the unique, it brings up. So I will just click on customer segment and then make sure I drag. Okay, good. But since I don't want the heading to show, I can just go ahead and make it start from it. So instead of, I will just put 2 there and click enter. So it shows me all the unique items in this column. So that is one way to, that's the alternative way to remove duplicates, like I earlier said. Incorporate. Another type of data cleaning that I will be looking at is trimming spaces. Trimming spaces. There are also 2 ways to trim spaces. You either use the trim function, or you just use the trim white space in data tab. So that's exactly, we're going to try our hands on the both of them, and then we'll see how it works. Okay, so for the trim spaces, I will use my product subcategory. So I'll copy this to the other sheet, to sheet 3, so that I will be able to show us how to trim spaces using the alternative route. So I will just copy and copy. And let's see here in this column, I'll take Ctrl V. So the first route to take in trimming space is just to go to data, and then also data cleanup, and then you see trim space. See, everything is well aligned. It has trimmed white space from 92 selected cells. I'll just go ahead and click OK. Here in this place, another way to trim space is to use the trim function, like I said. So I'll just click trim, and then you see trim, and then I will click on them and click enter. Yes, I see it has trimmed all the spaces for me. Are you seeing it? So that's the second way to trim space in Google Sheets. Sorry, that's the second way to trim space in Google Sheets. We'll be entering the third data cleaning and preparation type, and that is splitting text. How to split text? So when you come across a data type that you need to split text, let's say the number is close to the name, or they are aligned and then they are separated with something, maybe a comma or a space. So you use split text to column. You use text to column to split them. So there are also 2 ways to split text in Google Sheets. The first one is to go through the data route, and then the second one is to use the split function. We'll also try the both of them out. The first route. Okay, you see we have succeeded in trimming the spaces from the column. So looking at our other priority, we'll see that the role IDs are added to the other priority, and we don't want that. We want them to be separated, because this is text, this is numbers. We want to separate them, we want to be able to separate them. So what do? Now, first of all, copy this, copy the row and paste This is just so I can illustrate the second alternative form of splitting text and numbers. So the first is to go to data and then go to data cleanup. Okay, no, that one is for training spaces. Sorry. You see text, split text to column here. After data cleanup, the next is split text to column. And so when you click split text to column, it tells you, it automatically detects the delimiter. It's either you allow it to automatically detect the delimiter, or you indicate the delimiter. Is it a comma? Is it a semicolon? Is it a full stop? Is it space? But I'll just go with column and then I'll put my dash, and then here we go. It has separated it for me automatically. And then I will just go ahead and transfer this my order priority to my next row, my next column, and then I'll name this row ID. Row ID. The next we'll be entering is basic functions. The basic functions that we have in Google Sheets. So what are the basic functions we have? We have the sum functions, we have the average functions, we have the count function. These are basic functions. Like I said, they are basic functions in Google Sheets. So for the sum function, is the same as it is in Excel. The function is equals to sum, then you select the cells that you want to sum, and then you close the parentheses, and then it sums for you. It gives you the sum of the range that you have selected. If you are using the average functions, the same thing goes. The range equals to average. You select the cells that you want to get an average comparison of, and then it produces the results for you. In the same way, the count function works. I am going to illustrate it so we see it in Google Sheets. So let's say I want to sum the total orders. Okay, I will just put sum here. Total orders. I'll just put equal to sum and then I'll say total. I'll highlight the column. Well, I'll have to make this J2 since it's starting from J2, and then I'll close parentheses, and then hit close. So this is the total order. But of course, I know that having total order of different products doesn't give me the full details of what the product is all about. So what do? I'll have to consider using the sum if function. So I'll say sum if. Let me say sum if function. If in the sum if function, just to mention, I want to, let me use one range. I'll use this range, the range that you want to get the item from. The criteria you want to use is the item you want to get from that range. So let me just put corporate there. I want to know how much those in the corporate world paid for, like those in the corporate world, how much did they buy for me. Then the sum range, which column is the summing amount, the amount I want to sum, the range I want to sum, which column is it located? So just put column J. Okay, I did not add comma, so I will just go and add comma and then fix the column and then close parentheses and then enter. Okay. Oh, I made a mistake in the corporate, so I added A, so it's not giving me the right figure, so I'll just go and add O. So you see it has given me the right figure. So you have to select the range, the range where the name is. Then you can either impute the name or select the cell where the name is and then click and then select the range, the sum range. Note something that is very important. If you are using the sum if function, you may have to consider adding colon at the edge of the word that you want it to recognize in the range. But if you are selecting from you are picking it from a cell, there may not be need for that. There is no need for that. But if you want to indicate it with the name, you would have to add the column at the top of the name, just so it recognizes that it's a word. So another one we'll be looking at the first one we looked at is, this is sum function, this is sum if function, and add an extra, is that one column? No. I want an extra column here. So this is it. I want to do an average of this order. I'll just write average. So I'll come here and then equal to average. You see the average, like I said, you select the cells, the column that you want to make an average of. If you notice, I had to go to my formula bar to put 2 beside the first J. I did the same with other total orders as well. Reason being that the first cell in the column is the heading, and of course I don't want it to count or take count of the heading, so it's not necessary. So I'm starting from J2 down, which is the cell after the heading down. So I'll just click on my enter and then it gives me an average. So that's it. And then the last but not the least I'll be talking about in the basic functions and formulas is counts function. The count function. So I'll be talking about the count function. In the same vein, you also have to use count. And then you want to count the numbers of orders that came. Okay, showing it because there's nothing in the bracket. I did not select it before it goes, so I will just go ahead and select it. And then count 2. Put 2 there again, and then close parenthesis and enter. So it has counted for me. So now I know that I have total orders of 1952 orders, then with an average order of 12.94, and then the total order of 25,268. And in the corporate orders, I have 8,431. So this is how to use the sum functions, sum if function, average function, and the count function. Another thing I want to also touch is how to the minimum and the maximum, to get the minimum value and the maximum value. It's a function, and it's also important that we know it. So I'll go back and there do the min and the max function. So I'll just come here and add the maximum and the minimum. To get the maximum function is max, and once you click on max, it shows you. So once I click on the column J again, I'll just click 2 and then close parentheses. So it gives me the maximum function, the maximum order that was selected, that was done, within the period. So I also want the minimum order that was done within the period. So I will just also do the same thing, G2. So the minimum order is 1 and the maximum order is 164. So that will be all for our basic functions and formulas. We'll be treating next advanced formulas. There are some advanced formulas that are very good and we'll be using in this data. So one of it is VLOOKUP. The VLOOKUP functions allows users to search for specific data in a table and return corresponding values from another column. That's VLOOKUP. So you can search a specific data in a table and then you return another corresponding column. We'll try VLOOKUP and so you see how it works. The other advanced function is the if function. If function is if statement, enables conditional logic in spreadsheets and it helps users manage data based on specific criteria. So you have a criteria. Let me give an instance. If the ball is red, say true. If the ball is not red, say false. So you'll be able to see the balls that are red or the columns that has red on it or the columns that don't have red. And then the last one we'll be treating today will be array function. I particularly like this array function. I love this array formula. Array formula enhances formula by allowing operations on entire ranges, specifically improving data processing efficiency. So if for instance you want to improve the data processing efficiency, you can use array function, and it is very versatile. You can use it for division, for while using different operations. Basically, you can use it while using different operations. So we are going to try the 3 of them out and see how they work. Okay, before we go into our spreadsheet, I would like to say if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be informed whenever we go live. To start with, I'll want to add 2 extra columns. I want to add 2 extra columns. Let me add this first. Insert column and insert another column. So I have 2 extra columns. If you look at my data, you realize that there is no price. So that brings us to the if statement. So I'm going to be using the if statement because if returns one logical expression, but ifs returns multiple logical expression. So this if returns one logical expression, it means I'm using just one criteria. But these ifs return multiple logical expressions with different criteria. So this is the one I'm going to be using. What am I going to be saying? In this my product category, I only have 3 products, and that's office supplies, technology, and furniture. So I would, if column F is equals to office furniture, so I'll put my column at the top, office furniture. I'm putting column to let Google Sheet know that it is a text. It is a text because formulas and functions are customized for numbers. So any text you have to indicate by using, a column sign at the top. So okay, so I'll just I would office supplies. I want office supplies to be 1,000 in their price. So if office supply, if it is column F carries office supplies, I want it to return 1,000 naira in the cell. And but if the value is furniture, so I'm going to highlight it again. If column F is furniture, okay, furniture, don't forget to put to allow Google Sheet know that it is a text. Then put your command. You want it to return what value? I want it to return, let's say, 3,000. And then the last condition I'll be choosing, I'll also pick the column F if it's column F is equals to technology. Technology. I want it to return. Let's say 4,000. Then I'll click close bracket and then click enter. So you can see it has given me the value. So I'll just flash fill so that it goes to all the cells, and then I'll just call this price per item. And another thing I want to do is I would like to, since I already know the order quantity, I already know the price, the order quantity times the order price will give me my sales amount. So I want to multiply the quantity ordered and the price so that I can get my sales. If I'm happy to do that, will be, I'll just pick it and then multiply it times the price, and then it gives me the amount. But I don't want to manually do it, because if I flash fill, let's say I flash fill, and then this is the value it gives me. But if I add an extra row, let's say there's an extra row that was said, and then I add it. Notice something. If I add 4 here, or let me just say 5, and then I say there's 2,000 here in the price, it will not, this I'll still have to manually input the formula into that cell for it to give me the result. What if the data to add there are so many, so I'll have to also do the same thing. But when we use array formula, that process is done automatically. The system does that automatically, so I don't have to enter a formula every time I have to do that, except of course I want to change the formula. So this is the beauty. So I'll delete this, the row that I created, and then I'll go ahead and also delete this and create my array formula. So it will be equals to array what? I want to array the column J and the column M. So what do? I'll say J2, from J2. Since I'm starting from J2, make sure that the column you are highlighting, the selected column or cells you are highlighting, is the same with the one you are using to create or add or multiply or divide with the formula. So I will just put multiply by M, which is this column, that's 2, and then I'll close the bracket. Even before closing the bracket and hitting enter, it has already are you seeing it, shown that it's correct, and then it's giving me the formula, everything, all the cells, without even me having to flash fill anymore. So it just multiplies itself. So let's say I add, like I earlier said, I add an extra row to this, and then I multiply, and if you see, the formula has automatically recorded itself at 0. That's automatically recorded itself as 0. So if I add a formula here and I say 4, and I come here and I add 1000, watch, are you seeing it? It automatically calculated 8000. So that's the beauty of array formulas. So with array formulas, you don't have to repeat the formulas again and again. Once you enter it and you've already highlighted or selected the rows or column that you want it to calculate for you, anytime a value goes there, it automatically calculates it for you. And another beauty of array formula, you can also, let's say I move this J. I see I don't want this J to be here, and now move it here, and now move it here. You notice the formula is still the same. If I click on the first one, you see it has changed it from being J2 to L to J ending to L2. So that particular column or the items in that column also moved, and the array formula automatically updated itself to reflect the new column that it now belongs. So that's the beauty of array formula. So I'll just name this sales. So now we have order quantity, we have price per item, and then we have sales. I always like putting my figures in numbers, and I just want to see the comma. Just by the way. So, and keep no decimal point. So I know these are numbers. Then for the VLOOKUP is only useful when you are looking for an item, a unique item in another unique item. Let me give an instance. If for instance okay, let's say this, I will just click unique equals to unique. Unique. So I want it to return the unique values for me. So I would like to start with 2, so I don't have to take off the heading as well. So it returns this for me. These things that this the product subcategory. Okay. Let's say I want to return all of them here. They are not unique items, and okay, let me just go here randomly. Let me just put red, blue, green, orange, yeah, something like this. And then I want to return, I want to look up this value, but I want to not return this value. Is I'll write the paper here, and then I'll do the VLOOKUP. So I'll click VLOOKUP. So I want it to vertically search for me. From where? From this range. So I'll click on the range. So once I click on the range, and so I'll now tell the range number. In the range number, what column do I want it to search for me? So I want it to search 2. So I want it to search 2. So why is it 2? Because in this range that I selected, the first one, this is the first range, and this is the second range index. The first range index is the second range index. So I'll select 2. So if I had selected this long, so I have to count the index I want it to return. So that is one thing about VLOOKUP. So is it sorted? I'll click 0. Have you seen it? 0 means it is sorted, exact match. I want it to return exact match. So it has returned blue for me. VLOOKUP only works when you are looking for a unique value and missed unique values. You want it to return an index, another index from a unique value. It has to be a unique value. That is why we cannot necessarily use VLOOKUP on this our data. I had to extract the data and use unique function first before I can use VLOOKUP. That's how VLOOKUP works. And another thing I want to tell us is, another topic that I would like us to enter is range. Naming range. You have to name your range. The range you are working with, you have to name it. I'm just organizing data using sheets and range. Why do you have to name your data? You have to name your data. You have to data sheets and range so that you can have clarity, not just for you, but those who also have to view your reports, read your analysis, or see your analysis, see your visuals. They have to understand what you are doing. So if you look at my sheets, I already named this data. So when you see my this range, you see this data, you know that this is data because the sheet is named as data. The sheet is named as data. But this sheet, I just named it 3. So I have to open it and know, what is inside? Is it important? Is it relevant? Which of course is not ideal. So it's important when you are working on your data, try as much as possible to name your sheets. And if possible, if you are working on many ranges, it's also good you name your ranges, you name your tables. Name it so that in case you want to use it, you just click on table name or range name and then it will just give you the range name. And when you for data, you know that you are going to data, you know it's a data, it's data that is in that sheet. So that's that for that. So another thing we are going to do, I'll just delete this. This was just for the purpose of illustration. Okay, I'll delete it. And then I'll add another sheet. I'll name this sheet pivot table. Pivot table is the last topic we'll be treating. Okay, let me see second topic we'll be treating in this course, in this training. So pivot table. How do you use pivot? How do we use pivot table? So pivot table is in insert. So when you go to insert, you see pivot table. So what data do you want to? It's not like to click just one column and then assume it's your data. No, you have to click the whole. You have to highlight the whole. So I'll just do Control All. So it highlights the whole data for me. And then I'll click on Insert and then Insert Pivot Table on already existing sheet. So I'll go to here. I want it to be here. So I'll do Create. Okay, I did not select the table. I will now have to choose what do I want to bring up. I have to choose the column and the row and the values that will be there. So in the role, I will bring my customer segment. And then you can either bring customer segment or product category, but I want to bring customer segment. And then for the column, I don't want to add any column, but I want to add value. So I will bring my sales to my value. So now you can see So I have my pivot tables. So this is how to create a pivot table, and that is how to clean your data. You have to make use of it to split text column, remove duplicates, white spaces, and the likes. And we have also succeeded in knowing how to use the if functions, the VLOOKUP, and the array formulas. The last I would like to tell us about is data validation. Data validation. So that will be the last I'll talk about. Okay. What's data validation? Data validation help you instead of entering data manually, you are able to have the data already in the rows or in the cells, so you can just select them instead of having to type them manually. So I'll give you an instance. Let's say you have a list. Or you have a form, and then in that form you want it to be that people enter either their state of origin, the state of origin in Nigeria. So you are limiting it to only Nigeria, or you are limiting it to only country, for instance. So when they enter their name, when they go to the country option, there will be a drop down for them to select the country they are from, the country of origin they are from. So it is from the country of origin that is in your that you've already inserted there that they will select for. That's what data validation is used for. So you can select, it enables for easy selection, So somebody who is from Nigeria, when he clicks on the drop down, will just scroll to Nigeria and select Nigeria. Somebody who is from Lagos or any other country, maybe Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, will just go there and select Ghana or Cote d'Ivoire. That's what data validation is. So you could use this for other type of options. There are different type of options you can use this for. You can use to choose criteria, just like I earlier mentioned, selecting from the list. You can use it to list item, and you can list item like highlight the item you want to list from a different range entirely that is not within that range, so that anytime you update that range, it automatically updates. But we'll just be treating one today, and the one we'll be treating is we just want to use a certain criteria to select, maybe yes, no, or maybe to select the material. So I will do data validation. You can find it. So you have to add the rule. What rule do you want? What options do you want it to bring up? You get it? What options do you want to bring as a drop down? So you want it to bring, let's say, red, yes, and you can put a color to it, maybe yes, blue, no, you can put a color to it. Let's say no is red. You can add another item, maybe like I said, and then so we have, let's say, pink, and then done. And then you can flash fill it. So instead of having to put yes, maybe, so in any of the column or typing it manually, with the rule you can just click on yes. So people go there and then click on yes, maybe, no. It's very useful when you are doing financial statements, and or you want to automate a process or an entry in data, and you want it to enter a figure or some figure, or maybe the years that you have worked on, or the years in that data file. So instead of people know that, or you know that, oh, it's just 5 years that is here, and then you pick within that 5 years. So the years that are not there, is not part of the data. So that's what data validation is all about. I had to include data validation just for knowledge sake, but for this course, we will not be using data validation. We will continue from here in our subsequent training, from pivot table, and then we'll create dashboard and charts. That will be all for today's training. If you know you have not subscribed, please kindly subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you'll be informed whenever we go live. So that'll be all for today. Thank you and God bless you. Bye.